If you are in the state of Florida and you need food assistance, especially if you are a senior struggling to afford the food that you need, this video is for you. I am going to explain how to apply for food stamps. And if you're currently on food stamps, I'm going to walk you through how to maximize the benefit that you are already receiving. So let's get started and watch till the end of this video because I have news about Medicare. If you're turning 65 soon, this is important for you to listen to because I will give you information that will help you not only get on the best Medicare plan available that you have earned, but also save money, $1,100 a year. Now, a little bit about me. I am Kwame Kwade, and I am an entrepreneur and a personal finance expert. For 15 years, I've been creating content to help seniors get the retirement benefits they deserve. I started creating websites, and now I am creating video content to help you maximize the benefit that you have earned. I am also an adjunct professor. I teach entrepreneurial finance at one of the most prestigious universities here in the United States. So, if you're new here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button because I appreciate your support, your continuous support. And as always, I want to know where you're watching this video from. Go into the comment section, tell me your city and your state. But let's dive in. So, how do you get food stamps in Florida in 2025? I'm going to walk you through the eligibility requirements and how to apply, and then give you special rules that apply to seniors. Well, SNAP benefits, I am going to cover all these topics in case you're wondering why you should stay tuned to this video. So, what is SNAP? Well, it is the Federal Nutrition Program. It is one of the largest safety net programs that has lifted a lot of people out of abject hunger. So, if you think about the fact that about 30% of people are at risk of food insecurity, SNAP benefits covering 40 million people is one of the premier anti-hunger programs in the United States. Now, to be eligible for food stamps in Florida, you need to meet a lot of requirements, but the most important is the income limit. So from October 2024 to September 2025, this is the income limit. You have to meet the gross income limit, which is 130% of the federal poverty level, and then the net income limit. I'm going to explain the difference between the two. But for a household of one, your gross income limit cannot be more than 1,632, and then your net income limit cannot be more than 1,255, and so on and so forth. Now, gross income limit is your income before deductions, and then your net income is the income that is left after allowable deductions have been taken out. And there are standard deductions that can be taken out. There's a 20% earned income deduction. There's deductions for childcare expenses. There's medical deductions for seniors and people over, who are on disability benefits. There is housing deductions also available that reduces your gross income and helps you arrive at your net income. So for 2025, these are the standard deductions. Since Florida is part of the lower 48, your household of one and two, you're going to get 204 in standard deductions, and household of three, 204, household of four, 217, and so forth. And then there's shelter deductions, and depending on your shelter situation, you have a different shelter limit. If you're homeless, there's additional shelter deductions that you can get. Then there are asset limits. You cannot have bank accounts or liquid assets more than $3,000 for most households and $4,500 for household with an elderly person over 60 or a disabled member. So what counts as asset limit or resource limit? Your savings accounts and checking accounts, cash on hand, stocks and bonds, and if you have a second vehicle, that counts against it. Now, what doesn't count towards the asset limit? The home you live in, your primary vehicle, household belongings, most retirement accounts like 401ks, life insurance policies, if you have any educational savings accounts, income tax refunds, which are 12 months from the date, and then able accounts, which affects disability beneficiaries. Now, you also have to meet citizenship requirements. U.S. citizens are eligible. U.S. nationals and legal permanent residents who've been in the country for more than 5 years are also eligible. And then there are certain qualified immigrants that are also eligible or may be eligible for food stamps, depending on their legal situation or their legal immigration status. But regardless, when you're applying, you have to show proof of identity. If you're an immigrant applying, you have to show your immigration documents that qualify you for food stamps. You have to have a social security number, and you may have to show your birth certificate if applicable. During the application process, you have to go through an interview. There's an initial interview, which is mandatory for all applicants. It can be done by phone in most cases, sometimes in person. In some states, you can do a video call. It's usually within about 2 weeks of your application. So then one of the questions I get often is, what documents should I prepare when I go for my food stamps interview? Well, you need your photo ID, your social security for all members of your household, proof of income, the last 30 days of pay stub or benefits letter if you're on social security, child support documentation, proof of residence, which you can use a utility bill or your mortgage statement or your lease statement. If you are an elderly person trying to claim medical deductions, you have to bring your medical bills. If you have childcare expenses that are allowable, then you have to bring those. And then if you're an immigrant, your immigration documentation that establishes your eligibility. Then there are recertification. When you're on food stamps, you have to prove that you are eligible on a continuous basis. And for some people, it's about 6 months, every 6 months. And for some people, it's about 12 months, depending. And in some states, it's about 18 months, especially for seniors. And that also basically you go through the eligibility process again, you update your income information, and then you go through an interview. So, how do you apply for food stamps in Florida? Well, everything runs through the My Access system. So, you can go to the URL on the screen and hit the apply button, apply now, just as I'm showing you on the screen. If you don't have an account, click the create account link after that, and then you'll be off to the races. If you cannot use the online system, you can apply in person. Individuals who prefer to complete the application in person may also do so at a local access customer service center. You can find one that is closest to you by calling the number you see on the screen, 850-300-4323, and you will fill out a paper application on the spot. You can also download the application on their website, the Access website, and mail it to your local SNAP office, which you can find the address on the Access website, or you can apply by phone. The Florida Department of Children and Families has a phone number that can help you, and they're open during the hours indicated on the screen. So, how long does it take to get benefits? This is one of the biggest questions we get. It should take 30 days or less unless your case is complicated. But then some people also qualify for what we call expedited SNAP, and that takes about 7 days total from the time you apply to get your benefits. This is for very low income people with less than $150 in monthly income and less than $100 in resources. It means that you are really low income, or you have combined resources less than the monthly housing cost. Now, how much can you get in SNAP benefits? Well, for 2025, the maximum benefit you can get by household is what you see on the screen, $292 for a household of one, and household of four, $975, a household of six, $1,390. This is the maximum limit. It's not the average, and it's not what you are going to get because your benefit is going to depend on your individual situation. And then there are different limits for people who live in Alaska, whether they are rural or urban. And then people who live in Hawaii have a different limit also. What is the minimum? This is where seniors get really irritated because some seniors who apply for benefits, and even though they qualify, they only qualify for the minimum benefit. In the lower 48 states and DC, that's $23. And if you live in other US territories or states like Hawaii and Alaska, your minimum is a little bit higher. But the $23 is a point of irritation, and I'll talk about how you can increase that limit. How do they calculate your food stamps limit? Well, basically, they take 30% of your net income. Why is that? Because the government has determined that if you are low income people usually spend 30% of their money on food. And so they're expecting you to spend 30% of the money you've earned on food, which is your net income. And then they will take the maximum benefit that your household is eligible for. And if there's something left, then you get that difference. So, meaning that if you spend 30% of your money on food, but then there's a table showing how much each household should get in food stamps or food benefits per month, and your 30% is less than what is determined for a household of your size, then you get the difference. That is how food stamps are calculated. So if I go back to this table, based on your 30% of your net income, then they use the maximum benefit minus your 30%, whatever is left over, you get. But if you qualify, you will at least get the minimum benefit. And then during times of crisis, like we saw during the COVID pandemic, or during recessions, deep recessions, there are additional emergency allotment that you may be eligible for. Where can you use your food stamps? Well, there are many, many places, but grocery store chains are the top. There's supermarkets. You can use them at convenience stores. And here's a missed opportunity for many: farmers market, where you can double your food stamps if you use it to buy produce at farmers market, some community supported agricultural places, co-ops, and some specialty grocery stores. You can also use them online on Amazon. Actually, in the description to this video, there's a link where it will walk you through how to use your food stamps on Amazon, how to upload or where to upload your food stamps in order to buy groceries on Amazon. And then Walmart Plus Assist. In case you don't know, you can get Amazon Prime at a discount if you have food stamps. So even if you're a senior and you don't get enough food stamps, you still have some perks that come with your EBT card. One of them is access to Amazon Prime and Walmart Plus at very, very cheap prices, more than 50% off. You can use them at Aldi and other participating places online. Most grocery stores now allow you to use your food stamps online, either through Instacart delivery or through their own delivery process. And you can use it, as I mentioned earlier, on DoorDash or Instacart to buy groceries. So there's many, many options for you if you are not mobile to be able to use your food stamps benefits online. And then I talked about the farmers markets. There are specialty programs like Double Up Food Box that are in almost all states that shows you where you can double your food stamps benefits up to $20 to $30 depending on your state if you buy fresh produce using your food stamps at participating markets. So if you spend $20 in produce, you get $20 more in produce. And then there's seniors farmers market programs, and I will show you how to find USDA located places that you can buy food from. So Double Up is pretty easy. In Florida, you bring your EBT card to a participating location, you buy eligible foods, and you get a match on your fruits and vegetable purchases. The URL you see on the screen, the USDA URL, also allows you to find any store near you that accepts food stamps. So you can type it into your browser and it will pull up this USDA website, and then you can type in your zip code and get food stamps location in your area. And that is the link you have to click on to put in your zip code. So what can you buy with food stamps? Well, a lot. Fruits and veggies, meat, poultry and fish, dairy products, bread and cereals, snack foods, and non-alcoholic beverages. You can also buy seeds and plants that produce food for the household. Here are some categories of food you can buy. So I've put them by categories. You can see there's many, many things here that you can buy, including baby food, snack foods, baking ingredients, ice for food storage, seed plants for growing food, dietary supplements that are primarily food, eggs, frozen vegetables, fresh produce, etc., etc. Now, there are some surprising items that people do not know that you can buy with your SNAP EBT card including seeds and plant for growing food, live seafood like lobsters and shellfish. This is very controversial because people are like, oh, why are they allowing food stamps people to buy lobster? I cannot afford lobster and they're getting government benefits and they are able to buy lobster. Well, I can tell you this. The average food stamp benefit is about $150. They are not spending that money on lobster. It's barely $6 a day total for you to even want to do something like this. But it is eligible. Cold drinks and energy drinks, bakery items, and gift baskets, if more than the basket is food, baby formula and food, protein powder and shakes that have nutrition facts label, water and ice, restaurant meals. There are some states that have a program called the Restaurant Meals Program, and it allows people who are homeless, who are seniors, or who are disabled and their spouses to use their EBT card to buy food at restaurants, fast food restaurants, or eligible restaurants that have been approved by the state. It's called the Restaurant Meals Program. It's in about 9 states: California, Arizona, Rhode Island, Michigan, Maryland, New York, and I'm missing a few states. But they allow you to use your EBT card to buy food at restaurants if you fall into one of those three categories of people and have been approved. And then hunting gear and fishing gear in Alaska, where this is part of how a lot of people get access to food. So here's what you need to know in terms of food stamps. You must use it to buy food that you are taking home to prepare for consumption. The food can be cold or unprepared, but not hot. So you cannot use your food stamps to buy hot food for immediate consumption. Cooking staples like oil, spices, flour are also covered. And here's the thing: if it's edible and not alcohol, tobacco, or hot food, it's probably eligible with your EBT card. What you cannot buy with food stamps are the things I've listed on the screen. Pet food, a lot of people have questions about that. Alcohol is a no-brainer. Tobacco is a no-brainer. Hot food, I've already talked about that. Um, Cleaning supplies, hygiene items, medicines, vitamins, live animals except shellfish, fish removed from water, or animals slaughtered prior to pickup. So those are the rules of food stamps, the no-nos. There are work requirements. A lot of people think that people on food stamps are just lazy and don't work. But here's the thing: if you're an adult without children or dependents, you can only get food stamps in any 3-year period. You can only get food stamps for 3 months if you are not working 20 hours a week consistently. So general work requirement is for age 16 to 59. If you're an adult without dependents, which is the ABAWD, adults without dependents, the age requirement is 18 to 52. Now, starting in October 2024, the adults without dependents category now have age requirement from 18 to 54. So that has been increased. And you must work, register for work, or participate in an employment training program. And depending on your state, you must maintain about 30 hours of work per week, depending on your state. And then there are some exemptions for people, certain categories of people who are exempted from the work requirement. But for most people, you have to work to get food stamps. And there's even more rules for adults without dependents. And so make sure that you're educated about that in Florida on how you need to comply with this. When it comes to the EBT card, there are things you need to know. Keep your PIN secure. If it's lost, report it quickly, because there are some people who have been trying to steal food stamp benefits from seniors and people on EBT. So make sure that you report any theft immediately to avoid your benefits being stolen or used before you file the report. Otherwise, you will lose your benefits. Benefits do roll over month to month, but if you don't use it in a year, you may lose it. Some states have additional restrictions, and selling or trading EBT cards is illegal. It will land you in jail. The government is pushing hard to arrest people for that. And with Doge coming in and trying to weed waste, fraud, and abuse from government programs, expect more scrutiny for food stamps. And as I said, if you are elderly, disabled, or homeless, in some states, you'll be able to use your food stamps to buy food at restaurants. Now, food stamps application for seniors, it's more generous. So if you have income below $15,000 and you're 60 plus, or you have income below 20,000 and there's two of you in the household, all Social Security, veteran benefits, and disability payments count towards your total income. Seniors with disabilities living with others 60 plus with disabilities may apply separately if household income is under 165% of the federal poverty level. And the asset limit is even higher, $4,500 in home value. Retirement savings are all excluded. Life insurance, as I mentioned before. And if your gross income exceeds 200% of the federal poverty level, both net income test and resource limits apply for seniors. So as I mentioned, net income for seniors includes other deductions that other people do not have, housing deductions that are available to seniors, and other deductions that are available, medical deductions, all the items you see on the screen. You can also deduct medical costs over $35 per month if it includes all these things that you see on the screen: nursing care, attended care, health insurance premium, transportation costs to and from medical appointments or to pick up medication. All those things are eligible. That is why it's important for seniors to keep records of everything so that when you're applying for food stamps, you have all your documents to get the maximum deductions, because that is how you get more benefits. Because if you're eligible, you want to get as much as you're eligible for. You want to get what your fair share that is based on your income. And so if you're not getting that because you're not bringing all the documents for them to deduct it, then you're cheating yourself for critical benefits that you may need to survive. How much can seniors get? On average, you can get about $158 a month, which is about $1,896 per year. And here's what you should know. 80% of elderly participants receive more than the minimum amount. So the $23 that I mentioned, more than 80% of seniors get more than that. And as I mentioned, the benefits are loaded on an EBT card. You can use it in several places that I mentioned, but here are some perks that you also get. If you have EBT in some states and cities, you can get transport, free museum passes to about 2,000 museums across the country, Amazon and Walmart membership discounts, etc., etc. And in Pennsylvania, for example, the governor is trying to get the minimum increase to 35, which I think Florida should also do. And in most states, there are specific requirements for seniors to help make SNAP applications very easy. And as you can see, this is an example. And so make sure that if you're applying as a senior, you look for area resources, because most legal help organizations and food banks have application information on how seniors can apply for food stamps very easily. And another program that you may tap into is the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. If you're struggling as a senior to afford food, this is a program you should look into. And then the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. Both programs are specifically targeted at seniors to give you more food. And your eligibility is if you make less than 185% of the federal poverty level. So more seniors may qualify for these two additional food benefits program. So if you have any questions about food stamps that I've talked about, let me know in the comments, but I have more to share with you. So let's get to it. So this is about seniors and Medicare. Are you currently on Medicare, or are you turning 65 soon and then you're thinking about what you need to do for Medicare? Or are you retiring and leaving your job, or you're on Medicare and trying to move out of state? I have critical information for you on how to save money each year. The headlines keep coming about seniors being dropped on Medicare plans. This is Oregon, where 25% of the plans are leaving the state. This is Minnesota, where seniors face a dilemma between choosing a doctor or choosing the health plan. And you may be asking, why are these things happening? Well, It culminates into 34 million seniors in Medicare Advantage plans facing a rude awakening. What is that rude awakening? Well, there's a lot of changes happening, and Medicare can be confusing. Over 24,000 Medicare plans exist, and you have to figure out what fits your need, what fits your budget, what coverage your doctor's network, etc., etc. And that can be confusing for a lot of seniors. So they pick the plan that they feel confident about, and then later find out that it doesn't meet their needs. That is why 90% of all seniors are in the wrong Medicare plan. Now, finding the right plan for you, your budget, and your coverage that you need can be frustrating. And then when you pick the wrong plan, it can cost you money. On average, a couple on Medicare spend about $300,000 during their retirement, and it can affect your health when you need it. If you don't have it, if you don't have a specific coverage that you need for whatever problems you end up having, then it can be catastrophic in terms of you need care and you can't get it because you don't have the coverage. And so there is help. We have partnered with Chapter Medicare. Our friends at Chapter have helped thousands of seniors to get Medicare benefits they deserve. You have paid into Medicare. You need to get the benefits that you've earned. Chapter is here to help you. It's a free service, unbiased, and they are the only organizations with access to the 24,000 Medicare plans and can personalize recommendations to meet your needs and your budget. One thing I like about Chapter is that their agents do not work for commission. So when they're on the phone with you, they're not trying to sell you the most expensive plan. Their mission is to help you get into the best plan that fits your needs, and they can save you a lot of money, $1,100 on average. But depending on your situation, there may be a very small window for you to enroll or switch into a better plan. So call them now at 539-205-2147, or go to the description of this video. There's a form you can fill out. It's very simple. And then Chapter will reach out to you and discuss your options. As I mentioned, it's free, unbiased. They are the only organization that have access to all 24,000 plans. And they can help you avoid being part of the 90% of seniors that are in the wrong Medicare plan. So call Chapter now or fill out the form below. And they're highly rated, A+ with the Better Business Bureau. And they have numerous 5-star ratings online you can go through. These guys are the real deal. That is why we're working with them. So call Chapter now. Now, this is one thing that I want to talk to you about, because if you are turning 65 soon, there are some rules that you need to be aware of. And I'm going to walk through very quickly. You have a 7-month window to enroll in Medicare, starting 3 months before your 65th birthday and then ending 3 months after. When you miss this period, you're going to incur late enrollment penalties. If you're already receiving Social Security, then you will automatically be enrolled in Medicare Part A and Part B when you turn 65. No additional steps are needed unless you want to enroll in Part D or Medigap. But then if you're still working after 65, if you have employer-based health insurance, check with your benefits administrator to decide if getting on Medicare makes sense for you. And there are ways to avoid the dreaded late penalties. Enroll on time, even if you are not ready to retire, as delaying Medicare Part B or Part D can lead to lifelong premium penalties. If you're retiring and leaving your job, Medicare has rules you need to follow. You have an 8-month special enrollment period after leaving your job or losing employer-based coverage to enroll in Medicare Part A and Part B without penalties. This will ensure your continued coverage. If you have prescription drug coverage, you must enroll. If you want prescription drug coverage, you must enroll in Part D within the first 2 months of your special enrollment period to avoid Part D late enrollment penalty. And COBRA may not be your saving grace. COBRA or retiree health plans do not count as creditable coverage for delaying medical enrollment. So sign up for Part A and Part B during your special enrollment period. And then ask your employer for proof of creditable coverage if you are delaying enrollment in Medicare while working. This documentation may prevent you a lot of headaches later down the road. And then finally, if you are moving out of state, Medicare has rules. Your original Medicare Part A, Part B are good because they cover you nationwide. But then these plans, Advantage plans, are location specific. So moving out of state requires enrolling in a new plan during a special enrollment period. Contact your plan provider for guidance. So here again, Chapter Medicare can help you sort through all these. If you're turning 65, if you're staying with your employer, if you're moving out of state, all these rules apply. And if you're moving out of state, there are Part D prescription plan rules. If enrolled in a standard Part D plan, you may need to switch plans based on your new state's offerings. Use the SEP triggered by your move to avoid penalties or gap in coverage. And then finally, notify the Social Security Administration of your change in address. Especially these days that things are happening so much at the Social Security Administration. If you move, let them know so that they will send you appropriate communication and mail to you at the right address. But I'm saying all this to say, regarding Medicare specifically, Chapter, the number you see on your screen, is your best bet to get into the plan that you have earned and deserve. So, I've already given you all the information about them. Click on the link in the description if you would rather fill out a form and they'll reach out to you. And that is all I have. I hope this video about how to apply for food stamps in Florida has been helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions.